All right. Welcome to April Master Gardener Coordinator meeting. I'm working hard to get back into the gig of working. We had a great time on vacation, and then the conference was amazing. And the whole time I was like, why did I do this to myself? How did I book a vacation and been home for 48 hours and then leave for a conference? Well, it turns out that the conference, when I booked my vacation, was actually at the end of May, on my calendar even at the end of May, but the conference chairs had to change it. So that's how that happened. I would never have done that to myself. So anyway, so thanks for being flexible and coming to our meeting on this last Wednesday of the month, April 30. I do not have a slide deck, but I have some announcements and then want to get into green school stuff. So I'm gonna pull up my notes. First of all, I wanted to give you an update on the endowed campaign, not endowed chair campaign. I have to learn how to not use that word. The Master Gardener Program Endowment. I updated you about it last time, and then we sent a letter to all the volunteers in Give Pulse, kind of updating them. Donors should have received a direct message from Connors Development as well on the update for the endowment. But I want to let you know that I'm working with, based on meetings that I held with in conjunction with the state foundation, with our Connors Development office, and with the WSU Foundation, based on feedback from the listening session and the survey that was routed to a few volunteers.
Planters, you want some?
Yeah.
You know, to put in there, I have some celery.
Okay.
I got
the feedback was, we, as volunteers, we want to know about what's going on with the endowed campaign, with the endowment campaign. But there's so much other messaging that we're getting that it's hard to distinguish, what we should be paying attention to and what is just noise. And so we went to the WSU Foundation and we said, hey, is there a way to tag Master Gardener volunteers to only receive messaging on and about the Master Gardener Program Endowment? So it took a little bit of time working with the data analysts and the CRM people at the WSU Foundation, but we can do that. We got permission to do that from the WSU Foundation, and we're going to move forward with tagging Master Gardener volunteers so that they only receive messaging for Master Gardener fundraising. So I'm going to start pulling Master Gardener contact information out of GivePulse and get it cleaned up and send it over to the WSU Foundation in July. And volunteers should expect to start receiving direct communications about the Master Gardener Endowment by the end of the year. We're going to update that list each year with new volunteers that come in and with people who take the green school, or the Washington Gardener Certificate track. So volunteers who have given or only give to the Master Gardener program will only receive messages from and about the Master Gardener program endowment. However, if a volunteer gives to other funds at WSU, that volunteer will not be tagged to only receive Master Gardener messaging.
So to clarify, are they receiving a bunch of emails from WSU Foundation when they sign up for GivePulse?
No. only, so if a volunteer gives to the endowment, then they would start to receive other fund requests. And they don't want that, right? They're not WSU grads. They're not, it's just not, they're not the right audience to be receiving communications about fund development all over the WSU system. So this
Good.
new setup will clarify, and they will only receive communications about the Master Gardener Program endowment.
But that's a new thing for them to start receiving emails
Yeah.
about a fundraising campaign. And
We
can they,
tried to do it a couple years ago. It didn't work very well, and so we're making it a little more sophisticated.
and will it be something that they can opt out of if they don't want to receive?
Probably, but I don't know for sure. They can probably, their first email, they'll be able to, you know, scroll to the bottom and not receive it. It won't be a lot of them. And it will be in, you know, partnership with us. So I don't expect that random messaging will go out without us knowing about it. Thanks, Tim. I like that. It will go to all volunteers, Tessa, not just the ones who have donated already. Laurel, was that your question? Okay. The reason being, I mean, universities in general rely on donors. I mean, that is just a big part of our revenue. And Wendy Power said early on in her tenure here, when I was asking her about some of her biggest challenges, and she said, I've never worked at a university without a giving culture. WSU does not have a giving culture, and we need to correct course on that. And so we've been working on that. So right now, this is a heads up that nobody will receive a message without, you know, you all knowing first, and it won't start to come till the end of the year. Okay. And then I received a request, I don't know, maybe some of you did too, from Clemson in South Carolina. And they're wanting us to invite our volunteers to participate in a survey. And the survey is designed to help us better understand volunteers' self-reported knowledge on integrated pest management, motivations for participation in our programs, barriers to volunteering in our program, and learn about characteristics of highly engaged volunteers. They say the survey will take approximately 15 to 20 minutes, and that no identifying information will be collected. Participation is entirely voluntary, and they must be a Master Gardener, currently enrolled in or be a Master Gardener. So I'm wondering, and they wrote a little blurb, you know, so all we would have to do is send it out. And the results will be shared with us. So we'd get to benefit from the survey results. So what do you think? Are you willing to send it to your volunteers? That's about what I know about the survey. Go ahead, Sarah. Sarah, you're muted.
We just completed a volunteer survey within King County in which we kind of told people we weren't going to over survey them. So I'm a little anxious about sending another one right on the heels of that.
Yeah, I understand that. I want to stay true to our word. Laurel?
Yeah, I generally would support the survey, but if you make sure that they're asking the questions that we want data on, otherwise we might as well do our own. But it's nice that they're offering the data, so
Right.
yeah.
And I mean, we could click into the survey and look at what they're collecting, you know, I don't know.
Um, this is Beth from Wacom.
Yeah.
And I misheard, does it mean that we could be querying our groups, or was it?
Yeah, so they've
Right,
asked,
okay. They have the questionnaire and then we could piggyback on their questionnaire and survey our groups.
yeah,
So-
he's asking us to send their survey to our Master Gardener volunteers. He sent it to every state. He's really looking.
Could we brand it with our, or would it have to stay their branding?
It would have to stay their brand. It went through IRB.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good. It's just,
Yeah.
would it be mislead? I mean, maybe I'm getting into the weeds with it. I like the idea because I think those questions that you just mentioned sound spot on for our county,
Yeah.
but the branding part might throw people.
Well, I think there's a short, you know, introduction and it says what it is. So I don't think the branding would be an issue
Okay,
because it explains what the purpose of
yeah,
this
because it's kind of that
coming from Clemson.
wide, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm
Okay. Go ahead, Tim.
I just wanted to say, I'd be happy to send it to my volunteers. I think they're usually really responsive to surveys.
Right. So how about I send it, and then if you feel like it's appropriate for you to share with volunteers in your respective counties, please do it. If you don't, that's okay too. Okay, so I'll forward it to everybody. We'll see what happens. All right, and then so next is telling our story, and I just wanted to say Debbie and I've been working on Debbie. I gave her all of the information in March, and then I left, and she's been working diligently on getting the report ready. She's waiting on me now, so we're talking tomorrow, and I'm hoping that that we'll have the report out, you know, in the next couple of weeks. All right. Quality resources, green school. So first I want to talk about evaluation. Bryce and I are working with Susan Horde. I don't know how many of you know her, but she's an evaluation specialist with a dual appointment extension and a department to make sure we're evaluating green school. And after talking to her, we are going to actually evaluate or survey 3 audiences. So, and coordinators are one of those audiences. We want to learn about your experiences, what's working, what's not working, you know, that kind of thing, and about the tools and the resources you're using. So I haven't seen the questions yet. Susan is working on putting some questions together. We will also survey all of the Master Gardener track learners. We want to learn about knowledge gained, readiness to serve, and behavior change. And then we're also going to evaluate or survey the Washington Gardener Certificate track learners for knowledge gained and behavior change. Bryce, did I miss anything? No? Okay. So once I see those questions, you know, we're going to work on them together and you know, make it as easy as possible for somebody to complete it. We're committed to running this from the state level and making it longitudinal. And we're also committed to differentiating the results so that you and your county get your county results. Susan has some of the old surveys that we've used in the past. She has the home hort survey that we used that was successful, and then and she's using some of those things to put together our survey for green school. I'm excited to get that up and running. Any questions on that? I'll keep you posted as I learn more. Okay, and then I want to remind you that the marketing tools for Green School are available on our website in the for volunteer resources, including a marketing plan and all kinds of resources. We've had a couple of questions about wanting visuals of what the training will look like, the modules will look like, and Debbie and I and Bryce are working on those things together as well, so we can get those available for everybody. Thanks, Debbie. Debbie just put the link in the chat. We've separated the Washington Gardner certificate track resources from the Washington Extension Master, the WSU Extension Master Gardener track. And we're asking that you publicize it separately. They're different things. The plan has tips and timing for when and what to and where to publicize the Washington Gardener certificate track, and the same for the Extension Master Gardener volunteer track. And I know that, and you know, it includes messages and graphics and, you know, both for Facebook and Instagram. If you're on LinkedIn, I'd use that too. I'm going to start posting it on my LinkedIn account. We recently received a couple emails from people at the UW. Bridget sent me one, and Bridget, that gal wants to do Green School. So it's getting out there, which is cool. Yeah. And I know that not all counties will train Extension Master Gardener volunteers in the fall 2025 to winter 2026 timeframe, and that's to be expected. You know, not every county trains every year. It's totally fine. But I want to encourage you to, even if you're not going to train new Master Gardener volunteers, to publicize the Washington Gardener track. You know, just the basic Green School without the volunteer track. You know, our mission is education, and this is just another opportunity to get education out into our communities. That's really, you know, if you're not training, you can still advertise for it, and you're not putting any extra work on yourself other than the publicity of it, right? But you're not going to be responsible for anybody or any trainings or anything like that. And then also, the more you publicize, the more people we will attract to the Green School, and the more revenue you will make for your county program and for the state program. So don't be afraid to advertise even if you're not training in this upcoming year. That makes sense? All right. So then my next thing on here is just general Q&A for Green School. I know a lot of you have held listening sessions already and orientation type sessions. How's it going? What questions do you have?
This is Beth from Wacom. I have a question that is maybe already been answered. What the current cohort, my 2025 cohort, has been asking me, oh, can we just hop on, since we thought we were going to get the new curriculum, can we join Green School as like an audit? Maybe this question's been answered, or
Yeah, I can't offer it
Yeah.
completely free, but they do get a discount. It's a
Okay.
steep discount, right? $125. I will also say, and I haven't told anybody this yet, and I don't know why I forgot until just now. The new manual, the PNW Gardener's Handbook, Growing for the Future, it will, by next year, be open source, free to anybody who wants it. this first year, it'll just be available in a PDF. But to meet accessibility requirements, it will be open source. So that's a
That's
a
big
carrot
change.
for
Yeah.
current Master Gardener volunteers, for sure. Mhm.
What's the
Yeah.
value, the estimated value of that? Because I think it was like $150 or something just for the manual, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember how much it
New
costs.
one.
Does anybody remember how much the manual costs?
It was enough for me to print it out myself.
Mm-hmm.
It was like when it came on the little credit card flash drive, I think it was $50. But if you asked WSU Publications to print it out and send it to you, it was like 125 or
Oh,
110 plus shipping, I think is what it was. And so yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
That's one of the questions that my current Master Gardener volunteers are asking me is, wait, we want the new manual. So here you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Sarah, I see you have your hand up. Erica, yes, it means through a URL.
Yeah, so some of the questions I got, several people have asked, can I purchase individual modules from the training? So like, let's say there's 3 new subjects. Can I buy just those 3 lectures? And the other question I've been getting a lot is, and this is mostly from sort of people who are part of the planning, is do we get numbers as we go on number of registrants? I think that would help us. It would help us get excited about recruiting if we knew, so we've done 100 recruits so far. And our goal is 200 or what.
Yeah. I would like to say, yeah, that's an easy thing for me to be able to do. I don't know the answer to that, Sarah, because we're working with Extension Foundation on the registration. And I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to be able to see or how much of that I'm going to need to rely on a report from them. And I don't have answers to that yet. But I had a meeting. I had to drive to a meeting this morning. So I was on my way home driving along. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see all the numbers coming in on our registrations, like. And then your first question, Sarah, individual modules, not this year. Our intent is next year to break them apart and make short courses. If they just want to do something on soil, then it will just be a soil short course with the soil modules. But not this year. We can't get that done.
There'll be a lot of interest in that, and just sort of.
Yep.
I think this isn't something overwhelmingly everyone's really excited about, but the closest we have to a negative is this feeling of like the new trainees are going to get a better training than we did, and we want a way to catch up that doesn't cost money. So that's kind of the closest we have to, the scuttlebutt, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and having the new manual available on open source, I think we can market that in such a way that says, if you're wanting a self-paced learning, that's just for yourself, you can do that for free right here on this open source document. But if you want more intense learning, that is, focused with modules and subject matter experts, then then join Green School. Erica, I saw, let's see, you had one up here about, so there is not going to be a hard copy of the manual. And so when you say download the manual, so the title of the manual is the PNW Gardener's Handbook. And it's not necessarily, Bryce, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not necessarily downloadable from the URL, but it is, you can print it to like a PDF. Is that correct, Bryce?
I guess I'm not sure because I missed that last meeting, but so right now it's being formatted as a PDF, but we want it to be also formatted as web pages so that anybody can just look through it on the web. But we're also not going to charge for it. So is there a point at which, because I think some people are wondering about this, is there a point at which people will be able to download the PDF for free before the web-based version is available?
Oh, potentially. I mean, since it's going to be there, see, the reason why the PDF does not meet accessibility guidelines, right? So we can't have it out in the front, in the face for people to, but we can have it on an archive site where we can send people to a direct link. That might be a good way to, I'm going to take a note so we can talk with Lei Jean about this.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Keep it up there.
We used to get the whole manual on a USB drive, and then as of last year, I think folks were responsible for downloading it onto a USB drive. So I'm not looking to get early access or free access. I'm wondering for the folks who are in the class that want to save it on their computer, is it savable? Because I know there's some interactive stuff that spins around once you hit it. So I'm just wondering if that content is something they could save.
The manual itself doesn't have the interactive pieces.
Okay, so the 29 chapters could ostensibly be saved onto somebody's hard drive or computer.
Yeah, that's kind of the question, because it's a URL, right? So I don't know why they would need to save it. They could just go to it.
But eventually they'll lose access, right?
Mm-mm. Nope, not the URL. The URL will be up there and updated, hopefully updated on a regular basis. So it's a website. It'll just be a website. Our manual will be a website.
So, but then anybody could get access to that if their friend gives them the URL?
Yeah, it'll be like, so, Bryce, will you look up the NC State and show what that looks like? We can share screen and show what that looks like.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, thanks. So it'll be free to anybody who wants it. And it's very different from what we've done in the past, but that's the way that most universities are moving to meet the accessibility requirements. Will it be accessible without the internet? Oh, goodness gracious. You people are full of questions.
Well, and that is a good one that we should follow up with the publishing team on,
Yeah.
because
Uh-huh.
we only want to update it in one place. And if that only place is going to be on the web like this, it's accessibility. It'll be accessible, like meeting accessibility guidelines, but not savable probably on your own device.
Yeah.
So
And
we'll have to ask them.
I have the note to keep the PDF and, available without the internet. We'll see what that looks like.
So this I'm showing on screen. This is what the North Carolina version looks like. And this is all they have. They don't have a print version anymore. So it's much more just like a website. So you just scroll through all the links to everything. Is there? It's one of the important things is so that it's resizable and reflowable, so that if you were looking at it on a screen, it would resize to just the words would flow on the screen, and the font would still be the same size, instead of if you have a PDF and you look at it on a small screen, then you just have to like zoom in on each part and try to like move around the screen to find stuff. So that's one of the reasons we're looking at this.
And ours will be more branded WSU. That was one of the things our designer is working on. Really ensuring that it looks like a WSU publication.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was saying you could print it to a PDF, before you close that, Bryce, so right click and then you can print that page to a PDF, right? So I'm not sure how clean that will be, but it's a way to
Still previewing. That's a big document. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
what if
somebody
you
could print it
switch
like
that
that.
to, what if you switch it to a PDF? Because you have your Xerox printer there. Yeah, so in this situation, it looks like it's easily printable. So we'll, I don't know why ours wouldn't be, but I'll follow up with that too.
And I'll share the link to this one just so people can look at it on their own.
Thanks, Bryce. Oh, Erica's releasing her application tomorrow. Woot woot. No, the open source document, I'm not sure exactly when that will become available. The law requires that it will be available like April 20 something of 2026. So we have to meet that deadline. You'll still do the Sterling background check at the county level. Everything that you've done at the county level for background checks and orientations and, you know, I know it.
Yay to the
Go ahead,
orientation.
Lynn.
Looking
What's that?
excited about the orientation part. It's just the background check.
Yeah.
Less so.
So Linda, go ahead, your hand's up, and then we'll get back over to the chat.
So kind of along the same line of what's happening in the chat, I'm thinking to myself, somebody's going to read through this open source thing and say, okay, well, I've done all the coursework, so can I just get the certificate? And that's what I was, is there going to be wording in the green school part that says you can only get the certificate this way and like that?
Yeah, I mean, it requires the modules and the quizzes and the final.
And if I could jump in,
Go ahead, yeah.
maybe a way to compare it is like if you were taking a college course, anybody could go buy the textbook for that course. You can just go to the bookstore and buy the textbook, but that doesn't mean you took the course. So it's sort of like that. Like anybody will be able to get our textbook, so to speak, and read through it all they want, but it doesn't have the quizzes in it. It doesn't have the questions. It doesn't have the class, and then it doesn't have all the modules, because for each chapter in the book, I'm building a module that's like an interactive thing that boils all the content from the chapter down into something where you interact with it and you do some practice questions and stuff. So they wouldn't have that either. So it'd be just like buying a textbook for a college class. You couldn't claim you took the class.
Thank you. That's the wording that I was looking for.
Yeah, that helps me too. I was unsure. Can I follow? Oh, well, I'll follow up after you go through the chat, I guess.
Okay, so I mean, it seems like a lot of the chat is about that question. So did Bryce's explanation clarify for everybody?
It did, but I'm still, so the other portion then is that isn't on the open access, like he said, it's just kind of the content and the book, if you will.
It's only the book.
It's only the book. So
Only the book is available for free online. Everything else has to be, they only get access for it if they pay for it.
and everything else includes these embedded videos. So say Carol Miles she's working on her video that is going to be delivered online about vegetables or whatever the topic is. So none of this is going to be live sessions.
So
all pre-recorded.
So there's like 3 parts to it, right? There's the textbook, which will be available for free eventually by April 2026. There is the modules on the learning management system, just like Canvas was. And there's, quizzes and the final, there's fill in the blanks, there's matching, there are different interactive things that Bryce is putting into it to help people learn. In the LMS, there will also they'll also be able to read the chapters, right? We're going to embed the chapters right in there so it's not so you don't have to go back and forth. And then the third piece is the weekly live review and Q&A sessions over Zoom. And those come with the purchase of Green School. So the LMS, the modules are asynchronous for them. I mean, they're asynchronous, meaning people can do them whenever it works for them in the day, but to stay current, they need to do them in a, in a particular week. Does that?
Thank you. And I bet you've probably repeated that 100 times. So thanks for saying it.
Yeah, no, it's new. It's all new and it's changing. So okay. If it's free, we'll be continue to have Washington. Patty, I don't understand. So what are folks paying
Jennifer,
for?
you answered it.
Okay, okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah. When will current trainees lose access to Canvas? I need to confirm that, Jason, but I think it's the end of this year.
What you had previously told us, it was June 30th.
Did I? Okay.
That's what I have on my schedule, my course schedule.
Okay, then that's probably right, because our contract ends. I was trying to remember when our contract ended.
So June 30th, that's
Yeah.
the
Pen just died.
we're going until October, so I'm gonna have to get everybody to, it's gonna be like a quiz taking, final taking crunch.
Okay. I'm going to confirm that, but I think I probably confirmed it when Erica asked me. And, yeah.
So that's a for sure. I mean, I need to let everybody know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Aaron, that's a good example too for people who are. All right, thanks everybody. What is the application process? Is there a standard application through Green School website or by county? There is a standard application for the Master Gardener program. That's available on our Teams pages. It's a fillable PDF, or folks can fill it out in Qualtrics. And then, oh, thanks, Caitlin. And then there was a question up above, Caitlin, I think that was you who asked it, Caitlin Blethen, if you've converted it to Gravity Forms. But it's important to use the standard application because it's been reviewed by HRS. And so those are the questions that we're allowed to ask. And in that folder that Caitlin's pointing you to, it also has a list of questions you can add if you would like to. There is not an application for the Washington Gardener track, right? People can just register because they're not becoming Master Gardener volunteers. They won't have a continued connection with Washington State University. It's a different application this year, Janice. The DEI team reviewed it and made some adjustments based on feedback from the volunteer development folks. So it's been updated. Thank you, Erica. You bet, Janice. So how are some of the, Erica, would you be willing to share how your sessions went? What kind of questions did you get? So help prepare the rest of us.
Yeah, I had 2 sessions on, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago and then 2 tomorrow. And so we put together a PowerPoint and are just kind of doing Q&A and also have some information sessions with some fascinating topics to kind of get people to mingle and learn. And it turned out very nice, the first one. The questions I think I forwarded to you, they are, people are asking if they decide not to take Master Gardener training this year, but they take the Washington Gardener training, can they roll into Master Gardeners the following year? And we've decided we're going to do a 1-year trial. So if folks want to participate after they've completed the Washington Gardener training, we'll try that for 1 year. But if they're 2 years or more out, we won't do that, and we'll evaluate after we try that for a year. People are asking if there's the hard copy, if they can get a hard copy of the manual, because that has been available by purchase. And then just people trying to really kind of understand the difference between the two, and some of the graphics that people have created and the PowerPoint try to just really, that one shot where you have the 2 programs listed side by side and then the check marks, people are saying that's really helpful. So I pasted that into my PowerPoint.
Right.
But I'm advertising these info sessions as Master Gardener info sessions. And what I'm doing is telling people that if this doesn't feel like a good fit for you, then there's this other option. So I'm not trying to sell the whole Washington Gardener Green School idea. I'm selling people on Master Gardeners, but I know that a whole bunch of them will probably not pan out and that they might be interested. So for right now, I'm very focused on Master Gardeners, with folks starting to really understand that there may be another option for them.
Great. I think that makes a lot of sense. Patty, Debbie changed up the Green School website, and it's on there. I don't know. Did we share the PowerPoint out? Erica, the PowerPoint that you made, did that get shared? It did.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I haven't seen that.
I could send it to Debbie.
Sure.
Okay.
I bet Caitlin would make a better one.
I think that's kind of okay. I'm remembering a little bit now. So we were gonna pull a few different resources together, and Caitlin didn't she say you'd be willing to kind of create a slide deck for us to use?
Yes, I haven't done that yet, but I'm still
Okay.
willing.
Okay.
Erica, if I could use yours for content and go from there, that would probably be helpful.
Did you say me?
Yeah, if you have yours that I could look at for the
Yeah, I'd
content.
be happy to. It will not hurt my feelings if you don't decide to use it.
Okay.
So this will be my first training, as on the training side as opposed to being the trainee. So I guess having some of the resources that you used, I mean, we have some that we used last year, but as far as like the information sessions, things like that, that's not something that we've done in the past that we would like to do this year.
So was there a specific question, Erin, or are you wanting to kind of pull a couple of coordinators together and? pick
Well,
the-
I guess if Caitlin's working on kind of a slideshow, then we can take our cues from that. But
Yeah.
as far as like the listening, so you know, how many do you do and how often, you know, and because I don't
Okay.
want to kind of want to spread them out, but not do too many, you know,
Right.
don't want to spread ourselves too thin either. And we already have like 15 potential trainees,
Oh,
so
wow.
which is kind of that's about our cap for most years. So
Okay. Sarah, did you have a comment for Erin there?
No, it was more of a question about whether our program coordinators planning to present the informational interviews, or are you going to have volunteers do it? Because I think there'd be a really different vibe depending on who was giving that present. Like if I did it, it would be more like, you need to do this or that. And if volunteers did, it would be, you know, here's my experience and here's what being master gardener is like for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a combination of both.
Yeah, Sarah and Pierce, we have done, basically I present the information and have a volunteer present to give their perspective as well.
You know. Erica, what do you do with, is it just you or do you have volunteers there too to sell it?
Information sessions.
Uh-huh.
This is the first time I've done information sessions. I do orientation sessions once I have applications. And I have used volunteers in the past, not the last couple of years, but I have a couple of fantastic ones this year that are going to be integral. I think ideally that's really important.
Mhm. Go ahead, Tim.
wanted to say, we kind of do the same. So I give an introduction and then I have volunteers speak and they talk about what they get out of the program and why they stay in the program. And then I add but by the way, you can't do this and you can't, you know, so then I'm the policeman that says, no using this on the side of your truck and we can't talk about this. So it seems to work well. It's sort of a good cop, bad cop thing, I guess.
Mhm.
But the volunteers really sell the program much better than I do.
Right. Go ahead, Laurel.
I kind of do a mix as well. Usually with the information sessions, I'll give a presentation and then invite volunteers to be there to answer questions and interact with the people who are interested. And then occasionally I've actually just had certain volunteers do the information session, you know, if they're a trusted volunteer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Great. Erin, does that give you some ideas?
yeah, I think so. But the fact that we're both volunteers too helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do in Yakima, we do a meet and greet with small group interviews. So I do a presentation and then I have all the team of mentors that do small group interviews, and they usually 2 mentors interview about 3 or 4 applicants. So we break up into small groups. So and then later I do we do a luncheon orientation for those people who have applied and been through the Sterling background check.
Okay. Mm. So I saw that Hari put in the chat wondering if anybody would be willing to share slides that they have used to explain Green School to current volunteers. Does anybody have slides for that?
The slide that Tessa made and shared that had like Washington Gardener and Master Gardener.
Uh-huh.
When I presented that one at our general meeting last month, and I got a lot of comments that was really helpful.
Okay. That's the one that got shared, the one that Tessa did. Okay.
Where is that? Is that in Teams?
I think she probably just emailed it.
Okay.
Tessa, do you remember how you shared it? Or did you post it in Teams or?
Tessa, what county is Tessa in?
Mason?
Okay.
Looking up my email here to see. Oh yeah, she sent it on April 2nd to the group, to everybody.
Thank you.
All right. So I think we'll go ahead and move on. Yes, agreed, Sarah. I love the way we're willing to share and work together and elevate our programs. It's awesome. Actually was at the conference, I was bragging about our coordinator team. I think we have one of the best coordinator teams right now. And I thank you all for that. All right. So Laurel put in the chat, it was a direct to me about our annual coordinator conference. Yeah, we're not traveling. So we'll do something online. And I honestly haven't started thinking about it yet. So if there's something specific you'd like us to do, let me know. If you're thinking about something in particular, some like professional development type things that you're wanting. Shoot me an email. So, Tessa, are you on, Tessa? I thought I saw her come on.
Yeah, she was on. Maybe she had to jump off.
Okay, yeah. So I missed the last DEI team meeting where we were going to review the rubric. And I think a number of folks were not on that. Somebody from that team, can you give an update on where we're at with the rubric?
I can do it, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Bryce.
Right, so it's supposed to be a rubric so that you can look at your applications and sort of a little bit more objectively score them than just going on a feel. So there's supposed to be, like points for different sections, and then you could add them up, and then you could, take the top scoring applications, then you could have fudge points to adjust that if you need to for things that aren't reflected in that. But we really haven't, we haven't fleshed out all the parts of it. It's just more like the idea of it right now.
Okay, great. We'll get it to you as soon as it's available. Quick program foundation relations update. The MOA committee, we have, I think, I'm 99% sure that that the ad hoc committee is complete. State President Tana Hassert and I are meeting at the end of next week to finalize an updated program and foundation MOA to be submitted to WSU contracts for review. We had great conversations that were, we talked about some pretty tough topics that helped to define our, that we're hoping will define our relationship and the roles and responsibilities of each organization to improve our partnerships and collaborations that we have with the foundations. So that's what I know for now on that. The state president, Tana Hassert, sent a letter to foundation presidents and reps. The foundation is recruiting for state leadership. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up that that's out there, and they are recruiting and needing good people to serve on a nominations committee. AEC directors for 2026. Awards, we need people for awards. So if you have ideas or want to support, reach out to your foundation president and help recruit people into the state leadership. I was hoping to have a MS365 adoption update for you today. I don't. The team did not meet yesterday. So I don't have an update. the professional development, when I was at the conference, it was the National Extension Conference on Volunteerism, and the keynote speaker was fantastic. His name's Martin. I cannot remember his last name, but I can get that. He does volunteer development work all over the world, and he did a session on transforming volunteer cultures, you know, from toxic to positive. And one of the things that he said in a plan for doing that is to recognize volunteers based in the values of your program. So I want to talk more about that with all of you, not today because it's 2:00 and I have to drive to an appointment. But I thought it was a fantastic idea, and I'd like to dig into it a little deeper. And see how we might be able to honor and recognize our volunteers, both for their, you know, their actions in alignment with our values as they relate to the Master Gardener program, but also as they relate to their volunteer experience and what the volunteer experience does for their own health and well-being. So I'm excited to see where that might go. And our next meeting is May 28th. Any last minute questions?
I just have, since there wasn't staying mission driven, I want to put out a call for a podcast guest.
Sure.
I need a master gardener who is can talk all day long about pollinators and our pollinator program priority. They really only need to talk for about 20 or 30 minutes. But so someone who can, you know, talk about general
Yeah.
building habitat and how, you know, how important pollinators are, and also how the impacts based on our program priority. So
So Marco, what about the gal from your program that's out at the
Yeah, there's a couple of them there actually. Susie
Okay.
Camp and Chelsea Linderman. They're both.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Susie. Yeah, either one though. Yeah.
yeah, ask them to get in touch with me because July or June is our pollinator month. So we want to get an episode put together for then.
Looks
Okay.
like you're gonna have lots. Rachel Dubb and Benton Franklin have some ideas, and Bridget has a volunteer. So yeah, cool.
Thank you.
So I had asked if anyone had a tuition assistance form, and I don't know if anyone does. I didn't hear from anybody.
You mean a tuition assistance form, like as a scholarship application?
Yeah, like if somebody wants a waiver, partial or full, do you have them fill something out?
We haven't.
I have one. It's older, but I can send it to you if you want to look at it. And I haven't updated it for this year yet.
Okay, that would be great.
All right.
One, two, we actually have a foundation scholarship, but I'll just send it to you for the wording.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right. Thanks again for hopping on.
Thanks,
And
everybody.
we will meet again next month. I'll see you in between. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.